Hey people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Remy here. And before I even go further in this video, I just wanted to pause to say happy International Women's Day. Listen, International Women's Day has got to be one of my favorite days in the year. I kid you not. Yes, I know every day is Women's Day, but to have a day dedicated for International Women's Day, top tier. So happy International Women's Day to all the women out there. The Lord bless you. The theme for this year for International Women's Day is Accelerate Action. So it calls for rapid advancement in gender equality for women. So let's all do that in whatever ways we can, in our workplace, in our community. Let's advance, let's plead the cause and work towards gender equality for women. We have to act, right? Accelerate action. It's not just words, we have to act. So let's do that in our spaces, in our community, in our society, in our workplace, in whatever ways we have opportunity to advocate. That being said, I wanted to use this opportunity to talk about my birth story, to talk about my emergency C-section story. So if you're new here and you've never seen my face before, I just gave birth late last year, 2024. And in my previous video, which you will find here on YouTube, I talked about our journey to parenting with my husband at church. It was at our baby dedication actually. And we used the opportunity at our baby dedication to share our story, to share our testimony of our journey to parenthood. So if you haven't seen that video, I advise you to see that first before this one. This one, I'm not going to be going into all the details that I talked about in that video. For this video, I'm just solely going to be focusing on my birth story, when I delivered our son, and my emergency C-section story. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, and we're gonna dive right into it. So in honor of International Women's Day, I figured, let me share this story because we women, we do go through it, okay? We women, we go through a lot, and yeah, it's only right that society treats us well. It's only right that we are treated equally because we're not second-class citizens. No, God did not create us to be second-class citizens. The Bible says God created them both male and female in his image. So we're children of God. We have equal opportunities, equal rights, equal say, at the table. So it's only right that we're treated well, okay? And we're treated with equality. But I just wanted to share my story on how I got to birth our amazing young boy, my son, in whom I am well pleased. And yeah, so let's get into it, right? So in the other video, I talked about how my pregnancy was challenging. I went through my own fair share of sickness. I had hyperemesis. I was diagnosed with hyperemesis. And if you don't know about hyperemesis, the Lord bless you. You don't know what the Lord has done for you. But it's just a very, very, very tough sickness. Google it. It's a lot, right? So I went through that, and my pregnancy, when I was pregnant, was termed high-risk pregnancy. And mind you, before I got pregnant, we had lost two babies in a miscarriage, and I had gone for some tests with my doctors because, to the glory of God, I'm healthy. I'm a healthy girl. And so when this whole pregnancy issue started to happen, I'm like, wow, what's going on? I'm not used to this. I'm very healthy. So I had to do some tests, and in fact, the last test that I did, one of the tests, which happens to be the last one that I did, was when I just said, okay, that's it. I'm not doing any more tests. God just give us our children, and that would be it. So myself and my husband, we went for tests. He did some tests, I did some tests. I did more tests as the female carrying the baby naturally, but he did some tests as well. And to the glory of God, the doctors did a meeting with us to review the results of our test, and everything came out well. My husband is 100% fine. I'm 100% fine. There's nothing wrong. We're both okay, to the glory of God. So those two miscarriages that happened, only God knows why, right? So there was nothing wrong with us, medically speaking, physically speaking, and to the glory of God for that. So, and then eventually I got pregnant. And when I got pregnant, I was very, very, very sick. along the line, because of my history with the miscarriages and some of the complications I was facing in the pregnancy, my pregnancy was termed a high risk pregnancy. So apart from the fact that I was very, very sick, eventually at 31 weeks, I was bleeding. I had what the doctors called a placenta abruption. I think the medical term is placenta abruptio or something, but the normal English term is placenta abruption. So that's why I was bleeding, and I had to be taken to the hospital literally in the middle of the night, by my husband. We went to the hospital. Thankfully, the baby was perfectly fine. He was nice and stable. They did ultrasounds on me. Everything looked fine. My baby was fine. Our son was perfect in the womb. So they explained that the bleeding could be caused by something called placenta abruptio. Luckily for us, or thank God, there's nothing called luck. We're blessed by God. The bleeding stopped at the hospital. There was a time where they wanted to actually consider delivering me at that 31 weeks because there was a decel with my son's heart rate on the ultrasound. Everything was fine, and then all of a sudden there were like three doctors in my hospital room looking concerned, and I'm like, what's going on? And they said, yeah, there's been very, very strange and strong decels in my son's heart rate, and they have to move me to the labor and delivery department. Yeah, at 31 weeks. I'm like, you say what? Because I was already like getting relaxed, like, okay, this placenta abruptio, it's normal, baby is doing fine. And then literally like 2 hours later, I saw like three doctors in my room looking concerned. So they eventually moved me to the labor and delivery units of the hospital, thinking they might have to deliver my baby at 31 weeks. Can you imagine all sorts going on in my head? I wasn't even ready at that point. I'm like, wait, what? We're just 31 weeks. We have 9 weeks to go to get to 40 weeks. We're not even close. This was like October 2nd, literally. I had to be taken to the hospital. And then, thank God, the bleeding stopped. And, whatever they gave me to prep for a possible early delivery, we didn't need to, worry about that anymore. So they gave me like magnesium, and this magnesium thing makes you feel like drowsy and makes you feel very, very hot. So they gave me magnesium, and then they gave me something else. I forget what it's called. They put it on my thighs. It's to help the brain of the baby in case the baby was born at 31 weeks, which is very early, so prematurely at 31 weeks. And they gave me the magnesium, which was supposed to help the lungs of the baby. I might be switching it. One was supposed to help with the brain of the baby. Another was supposed to help with the lungs of the baby, should in case the baby was born early. But thankfully, my baby stayed put. The bleeding stopped and it was fine, okay? And then, I was being monitored. Ever since then, I was being monitored by the hospital because they termed my pregnancy a high-risk pregnancy. So literally, I was going to the hospital every week for ultrasounds, making sure that all is well. Can you imagine? And my hospital is not that close to my house. So can you imagine me going to the hospital every week, facing traffic, just to get ultrasound and to make sure that everything is well with my baby? Thank God for my husband. Ladies, marry well. It is important that you marry well. Thank God for my husband. He never missed one appointment. It was always going with me to the appointments. He drove, with traffic, crazy Boston traffic. He drove me all the time. We always went together for the appointments. I never felt alone. So thank God for him. So we went, we kept going for the weekly ultrasounds. And then literally at 33 weeks, 2 weeks after the first incident with the bleeding, this was actually the day after my baby shower. I had a beautiful baby shower, thanks to my husband, who insisted we had to do this shower by fire, by force. I tried to be like, let's use the money, instead of doing baby shower, let's use the money to buy baby items. I was trying to run away from it. If you watch the previous video, you have more context. He said, no, we're going to do the shower. So we did the shower, beautiful shower. Thank God, everything was successful. Literally the next morning of the baby shower, after the baby shower, the next morning, I was in severe pain, contractions. I was contracting. It felt like the baby was literally about to pop out. I was in so much pain. I was screaming down the house. It was a Sunday because our baby shower was on a Saturday, and the next day was on a Sunday, and my husband had gone to church in the morning, and I was so sick. I was in so much pain. I was screaming in the house. So I called my husband at church. I said, love, you gotta come back home because I am in so much pain and I think we have to go to the hospital. So I called and he didn't pick up because he was in the choir, and I think it was his turn to minister that Sunday. So he was literally singing on the stage, so he didn't see my call. So I called my friend, my sister, who God used for me for this pregnancy. She was literally my Elizabeth for my pregnancy. Sister Tosin, shout out to her. And Tosin, shout out to her. She was literally my Elizabeth for this pregnancy. So I called her that, can she please give the phone to my husband because I'm trying to reach him and I'm in so much pain. And she said, you know what, I'm gonna come to the house. So she came to the house. She tried to help, you know, she prayed for me. She's a nurse, labor and delivery nurse. Can you see that God has blessed my life? So she, you know, did some things, you know, I don't know, she's a nurse, so she knows all these things. She did some things on my stomach, on my body. She gave me certain things to drink and everything, you know, just to take care of me and all of that. The pain will not let up. This pain said, nope, you're gonna take your behind to the hospital. So I called my husband, like, okay, when he was done ministering, I called my husband, like, he gotta come home. So he came home, and I felt like I wanted to poop too. So it felt like I wanted to give birth. I was about to give birth, because that's the story you hear, that once you feel like you're about to poop like this, that's the baby trying to come out. And I'm like, I don't know what y'all talking about, but I need to use the bathroom. Anyway, I held on until we got to the hospital. Got to the hospital. It turned out that it might have been something that I ate or something, or the fact that the day before was the baby shower, and I didn't even do anything for this baby shower. I only literally showed up. My husband took care of everything. The only thing I did was get dressed, come downstairs in my house, and I did the baby shower. But apparently, that was even a lot of activity for me. And I'm like, I didn't even do anything. I was just sitting down looking pretty, you know, eating. I didn't do anything, but somehow, because I was pregnant, maybe I should have just stayed in bed. But it turned out that maybe because of the stress from the day before and something that I eaten, so they gave me some treatments. They admitted me for about a day or so, and then they released me the next day. Listen, I would say that everything from 31 weeks, I mean, I was sick the entire pregnancy, but from 31 weeks, I was literally in and out of the hospital, literally in and out of the hospital. Anyway, fast forward to when I went for my, and then it got to a point where the doctor were advising that they would have to induce me at 39 weeks. So my doctor, I love my doctor. I love my doctor. He's a Harvard trained doctor. Is your doctor a Harvard trained doctor? I need to say that. I love my doctor. He's so sweet. He's so sweet and very smart. But this doctor of mine wanted me to reach 39 weeks by fire and by force. You know, so he had told me that, you know, he advises me to get induced at 39 weeks just because of the history of the placenta abruption that I had. So they don't want to risk anything. So me and my husband, we talked about it, we thought about it, we prayed about it, and we said, okay, that's fine. Let's go for that, because I was going to wait till the 40 weeks, but if they're advising that, and me and my husband talked about it, we're like, okay, that's fine. So I had scheduled my induction for Friday, on a Friday, right? And literally, I went for my normal routine weekly appointment for my ultrasounds on a Wednesday. And that's when everything started. They said that the heart, my baby's heart did not score a perfect score. Mind you, all along, it's been 8 out of 8. 8 out of 8, perfect score for my biophysical profile score. So it's called a BPP, biophysical profile score. All this time, my baby was scoring perfect 8 out of 8 marks. And then it got to this Wednesday. Literally, I was already 39 weeks and a day or so. they looked at it and my baby did not score a perfect score. He had a 6 out of 8. He had a -2 in his breathing exercise. So they were like, yeah, we cannot let you go back home. Mind you, I just went to the hospital for my normal weekly routine appointment. This was the day before Thanksgiving. So let me go for my appointment, come back home. Me and my husband will make our turkey. We already brought the turkey out from the freezer. We're like, yeah, let me just go to the hospital, come back home, and then, I will, we'll prep for Thanksgiving and, figure out, enjoy Thanksgiving and all of that. I go to the hospital on Wednesday. They said that I cannot go back home, that they have to send me to labor and delivery. I said, wow. So, and I said to them, well, I'm already scheduled to be induced 2 days later, which is Friday anyway, so it doesn't hurt. Let me just go to labor and delivery. I went to labor and delivery, and they said they were going to induce me. I said, perfect, that's fine. I'm already 39 weeks and a day anyway, so it's fine. And then I already knew myself. I know how my body reacts to medication. I already knew. I said, if they give me this medication, all this one that they are saying, the baby will not come until maybe Saturday, so you have time, because this was Wednesday. You have time. I said, I know my body. Once I take medication, it acts fast. So they, they induced me, and they were trying to prep me for labor. So I was already in labor. And then my husband quickly had to come home and take our bags. Thankfully, we had already packed our hospital bags the night before. It's as if I knew. The spirit already told me that tomorrow we might not come back home. So we already packed our hospital bag, but we didn't grab it to the hospital. So my husband had to quickly come home when I was still stable. They hadn't done anything yet. They were just watching the baby and all of that. So he came home, grabbed our bags, packed our stuff, and then he came back to the hospital. So he came to the hospital, and it was time, to get the labor started and all of that. I remember I was even upset because they did not let me eat. I said, you people, because they were giving me some things and they didn't let me eat. And then eventually they let me eat and all of that. And then they already started the induction and all of that. And then my body was progressing. I was in labor for a few hours. I was in so much pain, guys. Listen, I was in so much pain. Men, mothers, women, we are heroes. Not all heroes wear capes, and women are heroes. So I was in so much pain and all of that. And then I requested an epidural because I'm like, I cannot come and keep myself. I cannot come and keep myself. So I requested an epidural. They gave me the epidural, and let me tell you, once they gave me this epidural, I didn't just you guys. I forgot this part. They gave me laughing gas. I was laughing. They gave me a laughing gas, at first. They tried some other things before, I was like, okay, let me try, let me push, before I request epidural. Let me, use my other options. So they gave me laughing gas. He helped a little bit. I was literally laughing. It was so funny. My husband was just laughing that I was laughing. Then they gave me some other medication. After a while, nothing was funny anymore. I was in so much pain. And then I requested the epidural, and then they gave me the epidural. Everything was fine, to the point that I was like, okay, let's do this. I was ready to push. I'm like, yes, I have the epidural. I have strength. I have energy. I'm not feeling pain anymore. Bring it on. Let's push this baby out. I was ready. And then they said something was wrong with my baby, that the cord, there was a cord around my baby's neck, and it's literally causing severe decels in his heart rate and things like that. They tried to get me. In fact, if you see I was in so many positions. Oh my God. There was a time I was actually like facing down on the bed. Like they were telling me to do different positions to see if, things can change with the baby and the cord around his neck, all to no avail. In the beginning, the doctor was still saying, we're recommending this, maybe you recommend that you do a C-section, but it's up to you what you want to do. They're going to keep trying these various positions and all of that. And my husband was like, give us time to think about it and all of that. So we said, let's wait, let's continue to do what we're doing. And then it got to a point where my doctor said, I am no longer recommending a C-section. The doctor said, I'm no longer suggesting a C-section. am recommending, highly recommending, that you have to do an emergency C-section now. We need to move quick because what they're seeing on their monitor ain't it, you know. So I had to do an emergency C-section. So as soon as they told me that, me and my husband looked at ourselves, we're like, can you give us a few minutes, please? We need to talk about this because I wasn't planning to have a C-section. I had told my medical team that I don't want a C-section. I wanted a natural, a vaginal birth. Every birth is natural, but I wanted a vaginal birth just because of the healing and the, you know, complications that comes with C-section. So I already told my care team I don't want a C-section. Do whatever you can to make me have a vaginal birth and all of that. So can you imagine the shock that they're telling me that I have to do an emergency C-section and I have to make the decision now? So they gave me a form, a consent form to fill out and all of that. So I had to talk to my husband. Me and my husband, we talked for a little bit, and we said, okay, let's do this. So we signed the form, we prayed quickly, and they had to move quick. I've never seen, I took a break. I had to quickly go upstairs. My son was crying and it was with my husband. But anyway, I'm back. So I was saying that I have not seen the medical team move so quick in my entire life. If you see the way they rushed me to the operating room, the OR, it was a bunch of them. They had to move quickly to bring my baby out alive and well. And these guys, I'm so grateful for my medical team. They practically saved my life. God obviously saved my life, but he used my medical team to save my life and to save the life of my baby. So I'm very, very thankful to my team. I'm thankful that the C-section, the emergency C-section, was very successful. I'm grateful that everything went well. My baby is alive and well. My baby is healthy, a healthy young boy. And I'm so grateful. For me, the healing journey after the C-section has been not easy. Physically, I'm so grateful for all the support. My mom was here for a couple months, and you know, her being here really helped. My husband has been super helpful. You know, so physically, I've not had to do much, you know, physically, except for like pumping and you know, just resting and things like that. But I didn't have to do anything crazy. So physically, the healing is taking some time, and it took some time. It's still taking some time, but slowly but surely I'm getting there. Mentally, you know, I had to, you know, grieve the fact that that's not the birth experience that I expected or I was looking forward to, but I'm overall grateful. And I was watching Tolulope Solutions video the other day, and she was saying some things that I even wanted to echo here as well, about how as women, let's be better. International Women's Day, right? Just not only women, also men, let's be better towards women in the comments that we make or in the things that we say. Having a C-section is not the easy way out. Have you experienced the healing journey yet? Having a C-section is not the easy way out. Having a C-section is a valid way to have your baby. It's a natural way to have your baby. Yes. But it's just obviously a massive surgery. Dude, I was cut 7 layers deep, bro. 7 layers deep. It's not easy. It's not easy. So let's be gracious. Every mother, you did the work. We did the work. It's not easy. Don't let anyone double down on your work. Or, you know, your validity as a mother or anything like that. So let's be kind in our words. I think Tolulope Solutions had mentioned that when she gave birth to a girl, a family member walked in and said she had not yet given that one is for her because she didn't have a boy. This is 2025. Let's behave ourselves. Let's have sense. You know. Anyway, let's encourage women around us. We are heroes. It's a lot to be a woman. It's a lot. But I just wanted to use this opportunity in honor of International Women's Day to share my birth story on bringing our amazing boy into this world. I'm so grateful to God. I'm so grateful to my husband, to my support system. The Lord bless you all. The Lord keep us all. And as women, we got this. Who runs the world? All right, see you in my next video. Bye.